Chapter 1. The Invitation. It was a rainy Saturday afternoon when 5 friends, Sarah, Mike, Emma, Jake, and Lily, received a mysterious invitation. The envelopes were old and tattered, with a faint scent of mildew. Each contained a single ticket to a special midnight screening at the Majestic Cinema, an old, abandoned movie theater on the outskirts of town. The Majestic had been closed for decades, surrounded by rumors of ghostly sightings and strange occurrences. Intrigued by the prospect of a thrilling night and fueled by their love for horror, the friends decided to attend the screening. Chapter 2. The Arrival. As the clock struck 11, the friends gathered at Sarah's house, armed with flashlights and curiosity. They piled into Mike's van and drove through the winding, foggy roads until the Majestic Cinema loomed before them, its facade weathered and covered in ivy. The large, decrepit marquee still bore the faded letters of its last showing, The Ghost in the Mirror. The front doors, once grand and inviting, were now slightly ajar, revealing a dark and musty interior. "Are we really doing this?" Lily asked, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and excitement. "We've come this far," Jake replied, trying to sound brave. "Let's see what this is all about." Chapter 3. The Theater. Inside, the cinema was a shadow of its former glory. The once plush carpets were now threadbare and stained, and the air was thick with dust. Their footsteps echoed as they walked through the lobby, past the old concession stand and into the main theater. The seats were covered in a layer of grime, and the screen was tattered and faded. An eerie silence filled the room, broken only by the occasional creak of the building settling. "Where do we sit?" Emma asked, her eyes scanning the dark rows of seats. "How about near the back?" Mike suggested. "That way we can see if anything weird happens." The friends settled into their seats, the anticipation building. The old projector flickered to life, casting a dim light across the room. The screen remained blank, but a faint hum filled the air, growing louder and more unsettling. Chapter 4. The Screening. At midnight, the lights dimmed completely and the hum stopped. The screen flickered, showing the title of the movie, The Ghost in the Mirror. The film began with a grainy black and white image of a young woman standing before a mirror, her expression blank and lifeless. As the movie progressed, the woman's reflection began to move independently, whispering ominous words and beckoning her to come closer. The friends watched in a mix of fascination and dread, unable to tear their eyes away from the screen. Suddenly, the woman's reflection turned towards the audience, her eyes locking onto the friends. The screen went black, and the projector stopped with a loud clunk. The silence was deafening. "What the hell was that?" Sarah whispered, her heart racing. Before anyone could respond, the lights flickered back on, and the screen showed a message: "Find the mirror to break the curse." Chapter 5. The Search. The friends exchanged nervous glances, unsure of what to do. The message on the screen was clear, but the thought of exploring the dark, creepy cinema filled them with dread. "We have to find the mirror," Jake said, trying to sound confident. "It's the only way out of here." They reluctantly agreed and split into pairs to search different parts of the cinema. Sarah and Mike headed to the projection room, while Emma and Jake went to the old dressing rooms. Lily stayed behind, keeping an eye on the main theater. Chapter 6. The Projection Room. Sarah and Mike climbed the narrow, creaking stairs to the projection room. The air was musty, and the walls were lined with old film reels and equipment. As they searched, they heard a faint whispering, like someone was speaking just out of earshot. "Do you hear that?" Sarah asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yeah," Mike replied, his eyes darting around the room. "Let's hurry." They found an old, dusty mirror propped against the wall. It was covered in grime, but when they wiped it clean, they saw their reflections, distorted and twisted, as if something malevolent was staring back at them. "We need to take this to the others," Sarah said, grabbing the mirror. Chapter 7. The Dressing Rooms. Meanwhile, Emma and Jake explored the dark, narrow corridors leading to the dressing rooms. The walls were lined with old posters and photographs of long-forgotten actors and actresses. The air grew colder, and they felt an unsettling presence watching them. As they entered one of the rooms, they found a large, ornate mirror on the wall. The glass was cracked, and a dark stain spread across its surface. Emma approached it cautiously, her breath fogging up the glass. "Jake, look at this," she said, pointing to the mirror. "It feels wrong." Suddenly, a hand reached out from the mirror, grabbing Emma's wrist. She screamed, struggling to break free as the hand pulled her closer. "Help me," Emma cried, her voice echoing through the halls. Jake lunged forward, grabbing Emma and pulling her away from the mirror. The hand vanished, leaving behind a dark, smudged handprint on the glass. "We need to get out of here," Jake said, his voice shaking. "Now." Chapter 8. The Confrontation. The friends regrouped in the main theater, their faces pale and eyes wide with fear. They placed the two mirrors on the stage, unsure of what to do next. "These mirrors are connected to the curse," Mike said. "We need to find a way to break it." As they deliberated, the lights flickered, and a cold wind swept through the theater. The whispers grew louder, and the air seemed to crackle with malevolent energy. "We have to face whatever's haunting this place," Sarah said, her voice firm. "It's the only way to end this." Suddenly, the mirrors began to glow, and the ghostly figure of the woman from the film appeared on the stage. Her eyes were hollow, and her expression was filled with rage. "You cannot escape," she hissed, her voice echoing through the theater. "You are mine now." Chapter 9. The Ritual. Desperate to break the curse, the friends racked their brains for a solution. Lily remembered the old book of spells she had brought as a prop for a Halloween party. She dug it out of her bag and quickly flipped through the pages. "There's a ritual here," Lily said, her hands trembling. "We need to recite this incantation and smash the mirrors at the same time." They formed a circle around the mirrors, holding hands and chanting the incantation. The air grew colder, and the ghostly figure screeched in anger, trying to break their circle. "Keep going," Sarah urged, her voice rising above the chaos. As they reached the final words of the incantation, they raised their fists and brought them down on the mirrors, shattering the glass into 1,000 pieces. Chapter 10. The Aftermath. The theater fell silent, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. The ghostly figure vanished, and the air grew warm once more. The friends collapsed to the floor, exhausted but relieved. "We did it," Mike said, his voice barely above a whisper. "It's over." They gathered their belongings and left the cinema, the first rays of dawn breaking through the clouds. The majestic cinema stood silent and empty, its dark secrets finally laid to rest. In the weeks that followed, the friends struggled to process their harrowing experience. They rarely spoke of the night at the Majestic, each of them haunted by memories of the ghostly figure and the eerie whispers. Years later, the Majestic Cinema remained abandoned, a silent sentinel guarding its dark history. The legend of the haunted cinema grew, with new stories of strange occurrences and ghostly apparitions. The friends moved on with their lives, but the memory of that night stayed with them, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks in the shadows, waiting for the next group of unsuspecting adventurers to fall into its grasp. And so, the legend of the Majestic Cinema lived on, a testament to the enduring power of fear and the unknown.
Don't forget to subscribe.